bonjour, bonsoir, salut. Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's Mr. Michael, and it's time for Storytime with Mr. Michael. Now, what were those words I was just using? Well, they're all three different ways you could say hello in the Haitian Creole language. That's the language that they speak in Haiti. Haiti is a country in the Caribbean, and it's on an island that it shares with the Dominican Republic. So, in Haiti, they speak Haitian Creole. And those are three of the ways. So, bonjour is the way you would say hello in the morning. Bonsoir is the way you would say hello in the afternoon. And salut is the way you can say hello anytime, night or day, doesn't matter. If you're watching this on your phone, you could say allo, because that's how they say hello when they answer the telephone. So, allo out there on your phones. So if you ever go to Haiti, you'll have a good idea of how to say hello to people. We're talking about this because today we're going to be reading Circles of Hope by Lynn Williams, illustrated by Linda Saport. So this book takes place in Haiti, and it's about people who live in Haiti. So it's probably smart if we at least know how to say hello to them, don't you think? Don't worry, most of the book is in English, so I'm going to be able to understand it. And if you speak English, then you'll be able to understand it too. But in the back of this book, there's a little glossary. So we're actually going to talk about some of these other Haitian Creole words before we start. So here are the important ones that we're going to hear during the book. Bon means good. Espérer means hope. Candelabre is a kind of cactus, and it says that it branches out like a candelabra. And in Haiti, they use it to make fences. Ticado is a small gift, something you might give to somebody. Timon is a child or children. And tonton is what you would call an uncle or a grandfather. So we're going to hear those words in the book, and now we'll know what they mean. Isn't that cool? So the author gave us this in the back. I'm not that smart. I don't speak any Haitian Creole. Well, except what we've already gone over today. That's the full extent of my Haitian Creole knowledge. But maybe it's going to get a little bit bigger now that we're about to read Circles of Hope. Circles of Hope by Lynn Williams, illustrated by Linda Saport. Everyone brought a gift for baby Lucia. Facile sat high up in his mango tree and watched. It was the only tree on the whole dusty mountaintop. Papa had planted it for him when he was born. A strong tree protects its timon, Papa said. Now Papa worked far away in the city. Ooh, there's Facile right in the tree there. Facile had no gift for his baby sister, no ticado at all. He ate a juicy, sweet mango, licked his sticky fingers, and thought, Papa is not here to plant a tree for baby Lucia. He studied the large white pit of the mango and knew what his gift would be. Carefully, he held the mango pit and climbed down from his tree. With a rusted tin, he dug a hole in the dry earth. He placed the seed in the hole and gently covered it with dirt until only the tip was showing. Facile walked into the hot sun, down the treeless mountain to the stream in the valley. When he returned, his arms shook with the weight as he removed the bucket from his head and poured cool water all over the seed. After many days, the seed began to sprout. But when Facile came up the mountain with water, he found only an empty hole and the neighbor's goat blinking stupidly. Look what you have done! Facile shook his fist. Once again, he had not even a small gift for his new sister. How can I plant a tree that will grow strong? Facile asked cousin Solbab. You must make a fence of cactus, his cousin told him. And so Facile planted another seed, and this time he protected it with stalks from the candelab. Dark gray clouds piled up behind the mountains. An early rain came crashing down on the dusty mountaintop. Facile danced in the puddles. Lucia laughed. But when he went to check on his sister's tree, Facile could not believe his eyes. Gone! He cried. There was only a piece of cactus fence, and beyond that, the lifeless seed. Facile asked Mama, how can I plant a tree that will grow strong? But Mama was worried about Lucia, who was very hot. Lucia was not eating, and she did not laugh at Facile's games. I must take Lucia to the doctor in the city. You will stay with Tonton. Then, before she carried his sister down the mountain, Mama said, you must make a step to plant Lucia's tree. Facile dug a flat step in the mountainside so the rain could not steal his seed. Again, Lucia's tree began to sprout. Facile waited, but Mama and Lucia did not return. Then one day the men in the village made scrub fires to clear the land for planting. At night, the sparkling flames crisscrossed the mountain. The smoke stung Facile's eyes. The next day, Facile saw ashes as he walked through the yard, and when he got to his step, he cried, Ah, no! Lucia's tiny tree had turned into a black, twisted stick. Lucia had been away for many weeks, and still Facile had no small gift for his sister. Facile helped Tonton to clear the many white stones from their garden. He watched the path for Mama and Lucia, but they did not come. I cannot plant a tree that will grow strong for Lucia, Facile told Tonton. Espérez, Tonton said. You must have hope to plant a tree. Facile sighed and shook his head. Too many stones. Stones did not make a gift, and stones did not protect a timon. He tossed another stone from the garden into the pile. Then he had an idea. One after another, he piled the stones up. Up and around he built the wall. When he was done, the circle of stones was nearly as high as his waist. Facile began to have hope. He climbed inside the wall and scraped a hole in the hard earth. One more time, he planted a seed for Lucia. He carried water and watched and waited, and finally, Lucia's tree began to grow inside the circle. It changed from a tiny sprout to a large brown twig with leaves. One day, after many months, Facile saw Mama come slowly up the mountain. Lucia came too, and Papa! Facile ran to meet them. What's this? Papa asked. A ticado, Facile explained. For Lucia. A gift of hope, Tonton said. Papa looked inside the round wall and smiled. A strong tree will protect our timon. Inside its circle, Lucia's tree grew tall. It clung to the mountainside when the soil around it was being washed away to the sea by the rains. It grew too big for the goats to eat, and it escaped the fires set for clearing the land. Lucia grew strong too. She and Facile played in the branches and sat in the shade of her tree. They shared the sweet mangoes. They carried water up the mountain and cleared more rocks from the garden. And slowly, 1 year at a time, little circles of hope began to grow on the mountainsides of Haiti, and inside each circle grew a tree. The end. Wow. That was a beautiful story. Beautiful story about family, about giving presents, about finding the right presents, and more importantly, about hope, about believing in yourself, believing in what you're doing everything you can to make sure it's going to happen. Facile sure did that, didn't he? He had to work really hard to get that tree to grow, but he did because he hoped and he worked hard. Have you ever planted a tree? Have you ever planted any kind of plant, a watermelon or an aloe plant or a peppermint plant or a rose bush or a Venus flytrap? Have you ever planted a Venus flytrap? That'd be pretty cool. I like planting plants. That's really nice. I also love books. I especially loved this book. So, Circles of Hope, gorgeous book, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to know what your favorite book is. Why don't you write it for me down in the comments? And now we also know how to say hello to everybody in Haitian Creole. That's right, bonjour, bonsoir, or salut. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Merci pour visiter nous, which means thank you for joining us here on Storytime with Mr. Michael. Woo!